Going to be working with our teachers and our principals to set up a opportunity for students to collect Wi-Fi or their devices through school. This is going to be a very calculated and strategic process, so your principal will have that information in the coming days, so that we can organize that in a very informed manner, and so that we're not moving forward with a bunch of people rushing up to the school at one time. It's going to be a very careful, calculated process. So your principals are in the process of devising that, and that will be shared with you very, very soon. We also want to talk about some mental health resources. So we realize that this is a difficult time for everyone in the community, and we want to be responsive to that and add that layer of support. So with that, we are going to have an opportunity for a mental health support hotline. Callers who call into that line will be able to contact a Midlands ISD counselor between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. That is not operational yet, but it will be coming, and once that is available, we're going to be pushing that out through our social media, through our website, and a number of other ways. So we want you to be aware that that is coming. We also, the Midland ISD counselors will be able to help support students with any questions that they're having related to school, community resources, feelings that they're working through at that point in time. We also want to make the community aware that Permia counselors, who are trained crisis counselors, are available to anybody in the community at all times, any time of the day, any day of the week. That number is 1-877-420-3962, and that service is completely free. We want to also make you aware that we are working very hard to make sure that we are reaching all of our community. So we launched our first Spanish language Facebook Live last night, and so we were excited for that. We reached 11,500 viewers throughout that process. We're working on some questions. I know that they're still in the works on the class of 2020. So we are going to be adding to our COVID-19 section of our website a section dedicated just to our seniors in regards to questions about prom, graduation, top 10%, and things of that nature. Our principals are working right now very closely on finalizing some of those decisions, and that information will be available on that website. And so we will keep you apprised of that information as that is moving forward. As I know, there are many questions and many answers are wanted at this point in time. We understand that, we're being responsive to that, and we're working forward to provide that through that platform as well. With that, I'll take any questions you may have for Midland ISD. Yes, sir.
Will grades be a part of this phase 3 rollout?
No, we are still not continuing grades right now. At this point in time, we recognize that even though we'll be providing devices for students and on a checkout basis, we have some inequities and some disparities in homes, and so we're moving forward and providing very careful feedback to students and continuing to progress monitor, but it won't be the continuous grades that we've seen in the past. Yes, sir.
How do you determine progression into next grade levels if you don't have grades for almost a third of the school year?
Right, and so we're working with TEA also to make sure that we're consistent with their guidance through that. So at this point in time, we're not continuing the grades that we have in point. That's what we're going to be working with. We understand that there are students who are still also from prior to spring break, there were still some students who had maybe some outstanding work and things of that nature that we're going to be working with those students on a case-by-case basis with, but we want to make sure that our process are consistent with what TEA is putting out and that we're working forward with the state in that regard. Yes, sir.
Had a comment from a person on a PTA Zoom meeting that was held yesterday, and the comment is the number of kids who have not been able to be reached is staggering. What's your reaction to that?
So the number of students they're not able, so we have something in place right now where our principals and our teachers are calling those individual students. So we are doing it by case basis on every single student. So making sure that we're able to reach those students. If for some reason we are not able to reach those students by phone, our principals are working together with their executive directors on other options on how to reach those students. We want to make sure that we want to know where they've gone, what's going on with them. And so if it's not through phone, then our principals are looking at some other options as well, while also maintaining that physical distancing.
You're not even reaching them. What's to say they're even doing any of the work? Which is to say, how do we prepare them for the next grade period?
And yes, we understand that is certainly a real concern. You know, if we're not able to get in touch with students, then how do we know where they are with their progress in that regard? And so that's something that our principals, that's what we did talk about yesterday, is about the number of students that we're still wanting to get into further contact with. And so we're going to have to go a little bit even deeper into some of those areas. So yes, we are still having those things in the works, but what that's going to look for each student is going to look a little bit different, because we're, again, still trying to maintain that social distancing, that physical distancing. Making home visits may not be the thing to do, so we need to find out where those students are at that point in time. So we realize this is a system that is will continue to evolve. Making sure that we're contacting those parents, those students, is something that we're working towards. But if we find that we don't have a working phone number for them, then we're going to have to see another way. How can we find out where those students are?
Last question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Why not just call off school now?
So that is something that we're making sure that we're consistent with Governor Abbott's orders right now. So right now he said schools may not start prior to May 4th. That's something we're continuing to monitor, and that's something that we are also making sure that we are working together with this team as well. I know there are different feelings on that. Some people feel like, okay, it's good to have a date to aim towards. Some say let's just call it. So I understand both sides to the coin. I think that's something we want to make sure that we're consistent with other entities as well, including our Texas Education Agency and our governor as well. So,
but MISD doesn't have an opinion on this right now?
Right now, I can't speak to MISD's opinion on this right now, because right now we're working forward with moving forward and be cooperative with the governor's order, and that's where we are at this point in time. Thank you. Any further questions for Midland ISD?